The film begins with the depiction of a plane. This cargo plane contained many toxic chemicals intended for use in army experiments. However, it has now become uncontrollable and is rapidly heading towards the ground. The place where it was about to crash is called Raccoon City, where we are introduced to Michael and his wife Tahira. Michael was about to leave the city for 2 days, and before leaving, he instructs Tahira to take special care of Terry because she is not like us. She needs special attention as she can neither hear nor speak. He can speak. Michael had never left her alone until now, but it was unavoidable. Michael told her that if she wanted, she could go to his mom's house. Thus she dropped Michael off and then return home. After freshening up, she sets off for mom's house, and just then, we see the plane crashing above her house, but Terry is unaware of it. Even while driving, the radio news was alerting about the plane crash, and the diary couldn't hear it either. Due to the plane crash, what was in it began to spread in the air. Upon reaching Dad's mom's house, we see that dark clouds have gathered in the sky, or rather, chemical clouds have formed, which Tahira did not notice. Here, Mom gives her food to eat and she has milk with her meal, while Mom has water. She is also unaware of the chemicals that have spread here. Their effect is taking place in the water. After eating, Tahira felt nauseous. While she was doing house chores, a society alert came through. It was a message from the government, explaining that due to the chemical plane blast, an infection had started spreading in the vicinity. They wanted to inform what the symptoms of this infection were, and it was advised that those showing symptoms should remain at home and quarantine themselves. Those who were still healthy were to reach a school in Raccoon, from where everyone would be rescued. For those who were infected, it was simply advised to stay isolated. There was no guarantee of treatment because there was none available. The army was evacuating all healthy individuals from the city. But what would happen to Terry, who knew nothing about anyone? Terry was turning off the light to go to sleep. Then, she noticed that her neighbors were quickly leaving in their cars. But she didn't find these things normal anymore. There was something strange standing under the academy light in front. Seeing this, Terry felt a bit uneasy, but she activated her home security alert, which was connected to her mobile, and then went to sleep. Her mobile was continuously receiving messages from someone, which she didn't even look at. By morning, she was already busy with her chores, and when she went outside to mow the lawn, she saw that her neighbor's car was left open. This meant anyone could steal their car. She closed the door and rang the bell, but there was no response from inside. Tally couldn't quite grasp it. Or perhaps there was more silence in the city today. When there was no response from the neighbors, she parked the car in their parking space. As she was heading back home, she saw a cat on the way and decided to take it home with her. Upon arriving home, she noticed that she had several messages from her husband Michael. However, when she tried to reply, the messages wouldn't deliver because all the signals had been cut off. Terry believed this situation would be brief. She took the cat she had found and began putting up posters with its picture around the city, hoping its owner would come for it. At that time, Terry noticed no cars or people on the streets, but she ignored it. Once home, she began a shower where the water stopped. She wasn't too concerned. She quickly brushed her child's teeth and went to bed. She was unaware the water was infected. Just as she was about to sleep, her mobile security alarm suddenly sounded. She realized that someone had arrived. She rushed over, and what did she find? Her garage was open, though she had locked it. The lock wasn't broken, it had been opened. There she should have called the police, but there was no signal. Turning to the house, she saw the door was open, which she had closed. No, whoever it was had entered her home. She quickly went inside and grabbed her gun. The lights had gone out by now. She reset her security alarm and was just about to go to bed when her phone's alert went off again. This time, the alert was from the basement. She hurriedly went to check the basement, taking a light with her, and there she saw a shabby-looking person. This didn't seem like a normal person. His face was disfigured. In fact, he was an infected person, something Terry was unaware of. The infected person was advancing towards Terry, but in fear, Terry, why did she get up and kill him? Upon going, she realized that many things about her environment were now becoming normal. She decided to go to her mom's, but upon reaching her mom's house, she saw that it was completely open. She felt very strange. Upon entering, she searched everywhere for her mom, but she was nowhere to be found. When she went outside and looked at the porch, she saw her mom inside the car and she had died there. It was revealed that her mom had taken her own life because she had become infected. Here, we learn another thing about these infected people, which is that it is becoming somewhat similar to them, but even though they are infected, their minds are operating like normal human beings. Unlike the zombies depicted in earlier films, the zombies in this movie do not go insane in the same manner. Terry, who was feeling quite overwhelmed, made the decision to go to Michael, but all the routes out were now completely closed. The entire Recon Valley had been sealed off by the government. Reluctantly, she returned to her home. Upon arriving, she first sealed her windows and doors and spent the entire night waiting. She thought that at some point signals would come and she would call for help. As soon as morning came, she decided to find out what was happening here. She realized that the light connections had been cut off. Fortunately, there was a generator at her home, which she started. She turned on the TV and from the news, she learned everything. There had been a breakdown inside due to a plane crash, which caused chemical blasts, spreading infection throughout the city and leading to a kind of somber breakdown. Ishika had been quarantined. The infection was spreading due to the arrival of infected people and through water. However, most people in Raccoon Valley used underground water, which was safe. Telly realized why she hadn't been infected because her well was old in it. She was using underground water. You climb onto the roof with a telescope to observe the state of the city of Tarif. Looking far and wide, you see no humans, only a few infected people. Additionally, you notice a drone through which the government and news agencies were keeping track of Raccoon Valley. When she came down, she saw her neighbor who had completely turned into a zombie. However, upon seeing Terry, she did not attack, clearly indicating that she was still somewhat in her senses. After coming down, she turned the TV back on and saw the raccoon. I discovered that all the primary roads had been completely sealed off, yet there remained one older road that not many individuals were aware of, and it was still open. Terry was able to navigate her way along this road. She came to the realization that they could make their escape via this route, so she began making preparations to depart without any delay. She collected some crucial items, fed the cat at her residence, and left a window ajar for it in case it wished to leave. She had advanced quite a distance on the old road and was on the verge of leaving the city when her vehicle ran out of fuel. Instead of panicking, she opted to walk. As she continued on foot, she arrived at a farmhouse which provided her with a sense of relief. This particular farmhouse, it was open like women's houses. Inside, she saw no one, so she went down into the storage area where she encountered the infected owner. He was about to turn towards her, but Terry, to save her life, shot him with her gun and then took the diesel canister present there back to her car. She had mistaken it for petrol, but when she started pouring it into the car, she realized it was diesel. All her hopes were shattered. This time, she felt very frustrated. She had brought this fuel from a great distance. Now, she was unable to walk, so she made the decision to return to her residence. After several hours of traveling, she finally arrived home and noticed that the individual she hoped would depart was still sitting there. Today had been an especially heavy day for her, akin to a burden. Memories from her childhood began to flood back. Her life had never truly been good. She hadn't always been like this. She used to speak, she used to hear, but then a car crash accident took her family away from her. It was a terrible shock which affected her hearing sense. She could speak, but after the shock, she stopped speaking. She was sitting in front of the statements, and rumors about her family and old memories were flooding her mind. She sat there, feeling sad, when she received another security alert from the TV launch. She thought it might be an infected person. Taking her home, she went there and saw that many soldiers had arrived, going from house to house, eliminating infected people, but Terry was not infected. Terry has now been rescued. Observing them sent shivers down my spine. The officers pose numerous questions to her, but when she does not respond, they come to the realization that Terry is unable to speak. Consequently, they communicate with her by writing on paper, and ultimately, they aim to rescue Terry. This is how the movie concludes.